the chat because then I get distracted. It's a journey to loving and embracing the woman within. And a lot of this book is my personal story, but it relates to every woman I meet in some capacity. And are there any men on your team? Is this all women? All women. Okay. So I'm excited specifically to be on here tonight this time of year because, as many of you might know or may experience, this time of year is one of the hardest to continue to fill our own cups and to continue to make sure that we are taken care of. It's burnout season for a lot of people, especially if you have experienced loss or if you experience some sort of heartache or if you are just a mom or a wife or whatever, you know, and you're trying to run a business and a lot of you have elite goals and premier goals and things like that. So it's a tough time of year all around. And a lot of us burn out around now. So I feel like this is such a great opportunity to bring this message to you and hopefully you can pass it along as well. So the chapters of Nourish spell out the word nourishment. And I'm going to save that for the end, but it talks about a lot of different topics. One of the main topics that you'll see throughout the book is this idea of comparison and trying to keep up with the women around us and how we get caught up in this race in life, not just in business or fitness, but in life that we never signed up for. And we find ourselves trying to keep up with everybody and everything that society and everything that everybody is telling us to be. And we find ourselves running this race we never signed up for. And so I talk a lot about that and how comparison has just robbed us of too much joy in life as women as a whole. So as it relates, I wanted to kind of tie it to Beachbody and being in this business for several years and knowing a little bit of what my own coaches have gone through. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that most of us have gone through a lot of the same things in trying to grow businesses and trying to keep up with our own nutrition, our own fitness, our own families, and all these things to try to balance it all. So what it comes down to, though, is, you know, being a good coach and being a good leader and being a mentor and a good friend and all of these things that we're expected to be, that starts with being the best version of ourselves. And being the best version of ourselves is sometimes hard to identify when we're in a culture of hundreds of thousands of incredible women, because we're constantly shown what this idea of greatness looks like or what we think it looks like. And so we oftentimes are like, well, she's reading that book, I should read that book. Or if she's building this way, I should build that way. Or if she's branding that way, I should brand that way, because we're surrounded by absolutely incredible women, powerhouses, right? So we find ourselves, or I have found myself anyway, and tell me if you haven't experienced this, I have found myself kind of chasing this mold that I thought I had to fit to be a great coach, to be a great inspiration, to be a great mentor, a great leader. I had to fit this mold of this person that I maybe admired or looked up to, or I thought was a great coach, or, you know, whatever. And what I found as the years passed was every time there was different seasons where I would try to keep up with so-and-so that I thought was doing it better than I was. And every time I tried to do that was instant burnout, because I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't being true to who I was. And what I've found over the years is the only way to keep showing up season after season, year after year, is when you're staying true in your heart of hearts to who you are, what you represent, and the message that you're putting out beyond Beachbody, beyond what Beachbody has to offer. What are you? Who are you? And staying true to that. And staying true to who you are when Success Club recognition is over with. When you hear your name on the wake-up call, and then that's done. And you get recognized for Star Diamond on stage, and then that's over. And then your coach shouts you out, but then that's over. When all of the recognition is said and done, you're not, you might be a 5-star diamond coach, but that's not who you are. And that's what authenticity is about. Beyond the recognition, beyond the titles, beyond all the fluff that comes with this amazing opportunity. And don't get me wrong, all those things are great and you should have amazing goals. But beyond that, who are you? Because at the end of the day, that's who you need to be okay with. You don't need to be okay with, I'm just shooting in the dark here, Brittany, the 2-star diamond. You need to be okay with Brittany when she goes to bed at night, who she is, and staying true to that. And so that's what I really had to find throughout the process. Excuse me. And I'm going to talk a little bit in a little while about one example, trying to keep up. Somebody just said keeping up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the Joneses. And I talk about, in my book, I talk about keeping up with the Joneses of fitness and keeping up with the Joneses of business, and how living next door to both of them sucked life out of me. So that, I just want to make sure I'm covering all my topics. People change, culture changes, seasons change. We get hurt. People do us wrong. We rise above. We build. We rebuild. We build. We rebuild. We constantly are changing. But the one thing that we have to remain true to is who we are, what we represent. And as I like to say, and actually it's a chapter in Nourish, is main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So the one thing that's going to continue to inspire the people around you, and the one thing that's going to continue to fill you up, is that authentic self. So identifying who she is sometimes takes time, and sometimes takes patience, and sometimes takes trial and error, and figuring out like what makes you happy. And then I'm not just talking about just social media, but in your circles. I am talking a lot about social media and how often we get caught up in Instagramming a certain way or Facebooking a certain way because we think it's the right message to put out, and things like that. So, excuse me, I'm like parched. So I've heard so many stories though, and maybe I don't know how long a lot of you guys have been coaches, but I know you're a pretty big team. I've heard so many stories of coaches in this network and people in other networks as well that have had to basically break down, like rebuild their brand and rebuild their following because they built things based on what they thought it should look like. And so they began attracting the wrong people. And when they took a good look at why they were attracting the wrong people and what they were putting out to the world, they realized that they weren't being true to themselves, and everything began to shift for them. I know Amy Silverman's one of those examples. She talks a lot about how she's like, the number 1, number 2, I don't know where she's at right now, coach in the network. And she talked at Leadership a couple years ago about how she thought she had to be like a blonde bombshell to be a successful coach. And so she forced herself into this mold of looking like a blonde bombshell and acting like a blonde bombshell. And it wasn't her. And so she had to break down that false perception of what she thought it was supposed to look like and build it up for what it looks like now for her and her brand. So I have definitely been down that road. I know many of us have, but I've also been down that road in fitness. So I want to kind of scale back from business for a second and tell you a little bit about my story as far as it relates to weight loss and how I got to this point. Maybe I should have done this flip-flop, but it's okay. So my story, I spent my life overweight. I was overweight at 5 years old. I was over 200 pounds in middle school, and I was 300 pounds when I gave birth to my daughter in 2010. And so all I knew was being overweight. And after I had my daughter, I had tried in years past to lose weight, lose a few, gain a few, so on. After I had my daughter in 2010, I decided that I was going to make a change for my life. I needed to live better for her. And I started out at this time, this was before 21 Day Fix, this was before any comprehensive diet plan that Beachbody had to offer. I was doing Beachbody workouts, but I was following Weight Watchers. And so I was really wrapped up in that culture as well. And I lost over 100 pounds. I went from a size 24, 26 to a size 2. And clearly I'm not a size 2 right now. But I found myself at a place where I was more miserable at a size 2 than I was at a size 24. I was more miserable because I was completely consumed by everything I thought I had to be. Now, I started building this following on Facebook. It's called Skinny Jeans Dreams. I started building this big following. I have like 17,000 people on there from years ago, but it happened really quickly. And all of a sudden, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 people were following me. And I was losing all this weight and I was successful. And I got to this place where I thought that I had achieved everything that there was to achieve, and I should be on top of the world. I should be the happiest that I could be. And it was this time, 2012, I had lost all the weight, and I was sitting on my mom's couch, and I picked up a Family Circle magazine, and the magazine had like treats and sweets and cakes and, you know, holiday stuff on the front, and I started bawling. And I just could not control my tears. And my mom was like, what the hell's going on with you? And I said, this overwhelms me. This gives me anxiety. This overwhelms me. I don't want to go to Christmas dinner. Like the thought of being around food in abundance had consumed me so much at that point in my life when I should have been on top of the world. Excuse me. I was depressed. And so I ended up having to seek therapy and so on. I'll be here all night telling you more stories, but I say that all to say that when I set out on my weight loss journey, after I lost my baby weight, I was like 255 pounds or something like that. And I was like, I just want to get under 200 pounds. You know, I'll be happy under 200 pounds. That was my truth. That was my goal, under 200 pounds. And I got wrapped up in a culture. I got wrapped up in Weight Watchers. I got wrapped up in, they told me, well, you're 5'5", so you really should be like 145 pounds. And then I started going on their message boards, and I was meeting friends who wanted to lose 100, 150 pounds. And I was getting in their groups and their messages. And I was just engulfing myself in this culture of weight loss that consumed me. And so I found myself in a place where I was trying to keep up with women in this race that I never signed up for. And the thing is, and I'm still friends with a lot of them now, they were trying to keep up with me and I was trying to keep up with them. And there was this race that we never even talked about. It just existed. And so I find, and in being a coach for so many years now, I've seen so many women go through this where they're like, I don't even know why that's my goal. And you've probably talked about whys and the importance of those, and that's another call for another day, but being true to what you want out of any journey in life is really what it comes down to. And so that was my weight loss story. And in my book, I share actual journal entries from that time in my life. And if you're interested, I can share a little bit with you. But I was in a really bad place. And so I'm very healthy, very happy now. I went on to have another baby. I gained 30 pounds, and I found myself really just balanced and happy where I'm at now. So, excuse me. Just another example, just to relate it to business. When I was a new coach, it was my third summit. I think it was my third summit. And I'm a very low-key person. I was always true on social media. So everybody I attracted pretty much was like on my page. Like, we just like to hang out. We like to be barefoot. We like to have some wine, you know, like we're pretty chill people. We're not flashy people. I have like a Payless necklace on right now. Like I'm pretty basic. But I was new in the business and I had a decent sized team. I think I was like a 1-star diamond or something. And I was leading my team with my coach. And, Summit was in Vegas, and everybody, all these other teams that I was watching were doing these big flashy things for their teams in Vegas, right? And I was like, well, we need to do something flashy for our team. Our team can't be left out. You know, we got to keep up with these other coaches. All these other coaches are doing all of this for their teams. We got to do that too. So we opened a credit card because we weren't making that much money at the time. And we opened a credit card and we took our team in a limo to go on the merry-go-round in Vegas thing. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of what it's called right now. We went to dinner. We went to the merry-go-round thingy. We went to the Las Vegas sign. We spent all this money, right? Thinking that this was what we had to do. This is what good leaders did, because that's, you know, we saw the highlight reels on other people's Facebook, the one in Vegas is called something, and I can't think of what it's called. But it basically overlooks the whole city of Las Vegas. But we were looking at other people, seeing the highlight reels. We weren't seeing the behind the scenes of what they were actually doing to build their teams. We just saw they were treating them like royalty. So we were like, oh yeah, the high roller, that's what it is. So we're like, oh, we got to do this too. My team, who was very basic, just like me, was like, okay, we'll get dressed up and go do all this fancy stuff. I'll tell you what, my team fell apart after that summit because we didn't love our team the way they needed to be loved, because we were trying to love our team the way other teams were being loved. We were trying to keep up with the other big name coaches in the organization, and that failed us. And it took me 2 years to pay off that credit card. I'm also really kind of bad with money, but whatever. It took me forever to pay off that credit card for this big event for people who really didn't care about it. The next year in Nashville, we had a house party. We were all barefoot. We had some wine in some mason jars, and we sat around and we had the best conversation with newer coaches at that time, and things built from there. And it was after that we began to rebuild. And so it's just, I tell you all that to say, like, just to tie it back to being authentic and being true to who you are, what you represent, because the tribe that you're going to attract is going to be those kinds of people. And I've just personally failed in this area so many times. And throughout my book, I talk about, like, comparison has robbed me of joy in every area of my life. From those stories to, like, I talk about faith and being a Christian and how I've missed out on church for so many months at a time because I thought I wasn't Christian enough, because I wasn't teaching Sunday school, or I wasn't praising like the pastor's wife. And these are my own demons. And maybe we all struggle with things differently. It all looks different. These are things that I went through, but we all find ourselves trying to live life a certain way. And it doesn't have to be that way. If it stresses us out, it doesn't have to be that way. And so from fitness and business and faith to something as simple as Valentine's Day, like, this is how simple, right? Like Valentine's Day, I would get mad at my now husband for not getting me roses or flowers because everybody on Facebook had flowers. Everybody else's husband got them flowers. Like, this is the mindset that I was in for so many years, where I was just allowing everybody else's life to dictate what my life should look like. And I finally was like, I'm just done. And maybe it was age, maybe it was experience. You know, I was young. I just turned 30 this year. So I know that I look back and like, okay, you were 24, you know, you're figuring things out. But it just took so much from my life trying to figure it out, that now I feel it's my job to help other women to be like, hey, you know what? You can scratch all of that and live your own life and live true and be true to who you are, and who that is beautiful and amazing and worthy. And she can be confident and she can be powerful, and she doesn't have to look like the next woman. So that's really what I am passionate about now. And not so much teaching people cookie cutter fitness or cookie cutter business or just cookie cutter life, but more so being like, who are you? Figure her out, nail it, and just embrace her and just love her and just let her live authentically and let her live out loud. And that's where I'm at in my life. And that's where I want to see every woman, because I really feel like, well, first of all, we live in this world that tells us that we always need to do more and be more and achieve more. And we're never doing enough. We're always being told that we're never doing enough. And the reality is we are enough. We have everything we need already within us, and we don't need to fix anything or do anything to be a powerful, special, unique, worthy woman. We just have to embrace where we're at today and allow that to shine outwardly. So, I really feel like the more women that can embrace this, the more we can rise as a nation. And this is the time, right, to rise as a nation of women. Like this of all time in history is our time as women to rise and to become everything that we were created to be. And it begins with identifying and loving who we are on the inside. So how much time do I have? Sorry.
We have time, but what I wanted to like ask you a few questions, and
Yeah.
you guys on the chat, feel free to put some questions in the chat. I can kind of go through them as we chit chat a little bit more too, if you have any specific questions or comments. But Krystle, what I was going to ask you was, so now that you've kind of come to this place of balance, I would call it, where you had your joy, or what you thought was joy, and then you lost your joy because you realized that that wasn't what really would fill us up. And I think all of us at some level of the business or in our life have reached something like that. Like we've gotten so far on whatever ladder we were trying to climb, and then we were like, okay, no, well, now what? And then there's a lot of psychology that goes into there. What would you say to people who are kind of in that trap right now, where this team right here is highly functioning and successful? We have 15-star diamonds, we have Millionaire Club, we have brand new coaches, we have so the gamut is there, and everybody is from all walks of life, and it's amazing to see success right here on our own team. But of course, some people can get caught up in that. So how do you help? What would you say to somebody that's caught up in it right now, and how do you like come out of it ahead and not stall out because of the comparison trap, especially like this time of year?
Yeah, this time of year is hard. And just to touch on that really quick, one of the things, I never hit elite. I pushed for it like 2 years and I never hit it. Last year, making the decision to write my book was very clear that I was like, I'm not going to hit big business goals and write a book at the same time. Like, and I got married this year. It just wasn't going to happen. That was really hard for me to swallow. It's a really tough pill to swallow when you see other people hitting goals that you think should be your goals, and maybe you're not reaching them, or maybe they're just not your goals. But what I would say to that is it really comes down to why. Like, why do you want what you think you want? Do you want it, or does someone else want it for you? And when you can identify that and sit down and say, like, okay, I'm gonna put this call away, I'm gonna put Facebook away, love my coach, I'm gonna put my coach away. I'm gonna sit down with myself and maybe pray, or you journal, or you meditate, or spend some time with you. Like, what do you really want for your life? And identify what that is, what that looks like, and the steps to get there. And I know you guys have to talk about this as such a goal-oriented team, reverse engineering the steps to get to where you want to go. But when you can say this in my heart of hearts, all else fails, this whole team could ignore me tomorrow. I could wake up and I could not be a part of this team, and I'm still going to build what I'm going to build because it's important to me. Then that's when you're living in your truth. And that's when everything that you want, you're going to achieve because it's within you, and everything you need already is there. It's already there within you. The trainings and stuff are amazing and the tools are amazing, but everything you need to be successful already lies within you. So it's really about what you want out of life.
I love that you said that, because it's so true too. It's that, everybody has an equal opportunity in this business, no matter who you are or where you came from, or, whatever your goal, what you think your goal may be right now, but that this business doesn't play favorites, and we all have exactly the same opportunity to build it. And it's a little hustle and heart and muscle and consistency and hard work and all those things compounded. And there's no magic pill for it. You just got to work it, and you got to find your niche, like you were saying.
And you also have to be okay, like that, knowing that what your actions, like I just said, like you have to be okay knowing that your actions are going to lead to your results. So if you want to be a 5-star diamond coach, or you want to be Millionaire Club, or whatever your goals are, you need to decide if you're taking the necessary actions. And if you're not taking the necessary actions, same thing in fitness and anything in life, then you need to be okay with that. And like I just said, like I had to swallow a big pill being okay with the fact that my actions weren't going to lead me to expanding my Beachbody business this year. I've expanded every year up until now, and this year wasn't going to be an expansion year for me. And I had to be okay with that. And I had to be okay with what that looked like this time of year when I see everybody else, expanding. So, but I think that just comes down to knowing and loving and identifying what your truth is.
I think this is a great time of year to do that self-reflection too, is we're kind of in we're in a little bit of a slow, but we're really close to a big explosion. I mean, with just the timing of the year that we're in. And if everybody has just a moment to kind of just tune in for a second over the holidays on who they are, what's important to them, why are we here? For the health, for the fitness, for the business, for our families, why are we here? And get that repurpose again, to be able to go full throttle right out of the gates. I mean, even before the year is over, because we have so much exciting stuff coming up, literally next week. But to be able to go into the next year with a really calm sense of purpose and knowing who you are, who you want to attract, why you're doing this, why you wake up and do this, why you do it on the hard days and on the easy days and on the fun days and on the slow days, why you're doing this, and just use that to ignite, as you push into January, not slide into January, just sluggish, but really have a fire about who you are, and it sounds like you've really come to terms with that, with who you are and why you do what you do now.
Yeah. And I find that the people that I've been working with for years, I help them better now that now that I've really taken the time. And granted, financially it looked different, but personally my finances might have not expanded this year, my business might not expanded, but personally I expanded exponentially. And that has affected the people that I come in contact with as well, and it's helped them to expand. And really that's what this is about, the money comes by truly helping people. And when you truly help yourself, you can truly help other people.
Absolutely. Do you guys have any other questions, comments? We'd love to hear your feedback. Has anybody started reading her book? We do yeah, I see some hands. Good. Awesome. Yes. Awesome.
Thank you. That's exciting. The book is available on Amazon. I was going to just say that, I don't know if you can hear my kids screaming. I don't know what's going on in the bedroom right now. I was going to say, if anybody does have it would be really good for challengers. So if anybody wanted to get a bulk order or anything, you can contact me directly. I'm actually Krystle J. Turner on my personal page. I'm Bailey. My business page is Krystle J. Bailey, which I think comes up on here. Krystle J. Bailey. That's my business page. My personal page is Turner. So if you see one or the other, they're both me. But if you wanted to get gifts or anything, I do bulk orders and I do discounts. So feel free to contact me directly. But otherwise, it's available on Amazon. Right now, it's free on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can trade books. I think you can have up to 10 books or something on there. So this is what it looks like. It's nice and pretty and white and blue. And yeah, I started to say, I'm just going to breeze, if it's okay, just breeze through them really quick, the chapters, so you can get an idea.
And you guys, we have the link to her book, the Amazon link, on our team page. So you can go, you can type that in, you can go to the event for our book club. You just click events on our team page and it'll pop up the book, because that's the one we're reading right now.
Thank you so much. So the chapters spell out the word nourishment, and each, I'm just going to do this really quickly. Each is kind of a life mantra that I've picked up through the process. So they go like this. Nix the comparison game, which we just talked about. Open your heart and mind. In that chapter, I talk a lot about business and what it's like to deal with women from around the world through the internet. And so how you have to lead your life with an open mind and choose empathy and choose to understand that everybody walks a different path than you do. So you is unleash the strongholds, and that I talk about the things that hold us back from becoming authentically who we were created to be. And in that chapter, I talk about losing my father. Like I said, I talk a lot about different topics in this book, but I talk about losing my father and how losing my father and the relationship that I had with my dad hindered me from truly loving my husband until I was able to heal parts of myself. So that's unleash the strongholds. R is realize your truths. And we kind of just touched on that as well, identifying what's true to you. I is invite God in, and I'm very open-minded. I say, whatever you believe it. Just do it. Just make it important to your life and spend time in it. But I talk about how God has been an impactful force in my life. S is struggles create your story, which is my weight loss and weight gain and the journal entries and all those things in there. H is heal your mind. Kind of ties together. M is main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. E is empowering the women around us. That one's really special to me. And I don't only talk about the women around us just because we should, because we love each other, we want to uplift each other, but really how it impacts the future generation and what we say in front of our daughters, and how it affects them. It's a good chapter, my favorite chapter. N is nurturing relationships, and T is trusting the journey. And in trusting the journey, I talk about balance and grace and how they have to play a part in everything you do in life. So, I'd be happy to answer any questions. And also, if you'd like, I can wrap it up with a poem if you want to hear one of the poems from the book.
Does anybody have any questions? No? Yeah, go ahead and wrap it up with a poem. We'd love to hear it.
Okay. I'll share with you my favorite. It's called Don't Try to Fix Me. Yes, new mom. Yes. Order. I talk about that too. I talk about everything. I was trying to find it, but I know it by heart. Okay. Don't try to fix me. I'm not broken. I don't need a cream or a cleanse to undo the marks of my journey. I don't need a quick fix or magic for me to love who I am with certainty. Don't try to fix me. I'm not broken. I don't need to shrink my hips or fill my lips. I don't need injections or suctions from my midsection. I don't need their interjection for me to love my reflection. Don't try to fix me. I'm not broken. I don't need to shrink it, wrap it, tuck it, dye it, fill it, cover it, lengthen it, fake it, or shake it for me to feel beautiful. I don't need to give back the souvenirs of a life well-traveled because the media tells me lies like a changing body is only good if it's shrinking, like moms shouldn't look like they're actually moms, like gray hair is a bad thing, like smile lines must be filled in, like this body isn't already beach worthy. Don't try to fix me. I'm not broken. And neither are you. Truth bombs in 3. Tick, tick, boom. Your smile shows your character. Your laugh lights up a room. Your body is a wonderland. Your presence sings a beautiful tune. Your scars are marks of victory. Your story is unique. Your story is uniquely your own. Your scars are marks of victory. There is no shame in letting them be shown. Your voice is important. Allow it to be spoken. You don't need to be fixed. You are not broken. You guys made me emotional with the chat. I got distracted.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing your heart. I know that took a lot to, kind of come live instead of.
I love it. This is such an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much for listening. It really means the world. Any chance I can get to share my message means the world to me. So feel free to follow me, contact me. Like I said, this is my passion right now. Like, I'll just be honest, like Beachbody is kind of a thing I do right now. This and getting my message and getting on stages and speaking, that's my focus and my passion and my energy right now. So Beachbody kind of ties to that and being able to offer something. So that said, you can tag me. I'm not going to see any customers or coaches. I'm not really building right now. You can tell a friend. But yeah, feel free to contact me in any capacity. I'm happy to chat. So.
Well, we appreciate it. You guys, you can get the book. The link is in the team page. You can search my name. I'm not Leslie. You guys know that, right? Just using her account. But you can search my name or go to the events tab. And our book club is reading the book right now. And the link to buy the book is right there if you want to get it and support a fellow coach who is also shared her story. And we really appreciate it. Just one more time, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we're going to close it up. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Have a good night.
Thank you, Krystle. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.